So we're joined at the Count Centre in Donegal North East with John McAteer, editor of the Tirconaill Tribune newspaper in Milford and famed as one of the best election pundits that we have in the county. John, we've been reviewing the final tally figures here. How are you going to predict it at the moment?
We're actually calling it Patrick McLaughlin. He's on close to 9,500. The quota is going to be slightly ahead of that. Joe McAteer is going to take that second seat very, very comfortably. And then all the party analysts around the floor are calling that final seat for Charlie McConalogue of Fianna Fáil, given that he has 6,600. He's about 2,500 ahead of his nearest rival, which is John Ryan. And whilst Labour will pick up votes along the way, John Ryan will also pick up votes, and so will McConalogue, substantially in the Inishowen area.
Now the Fine Gael vote is up substantially on the 2007 general election. Is there a danger that the performance of John Ryan could cancel out the performance of Joe McAteer, or do you see that not happening?
I don't see that happening at all, because Joe McAteer has almost 7,300 votes. That'll give him that seat very comfortably. The reality here is that Fine Gael, with a bit of more work and a bit of vote management, if that is possible, should be in the running at the next election for 2 seats, because another 1,000 votes, another 1,200 votes, equally split, would put them on about 6,500 each, and that would take 2 seats for them. That's something they will work at and they will analyse in the next 2 or 3 years. But John Ryan, really, Joanne, has been the dark horse of this campaign. Our own opinion poll in the Tirconaill Tribune would have put him on 11% back 2 weeks before the election. He has surpassed that somewhat. The opinion poll had Fine Gael on 29%. They're up on 31% now, but they're really perhaps 2 percentage points short of being in serious contention for that final seat. But it's a fair go, it's a fair effort for John Ryan.
So let's talk about the independents. We've had a large number of independents in this race. A lot of them come in and declared themselves very late on. Nationally, we're seeing independents doing very well. That's not going to be the case here in Donegal North East.
It's not happening here in Donegal North East because, first of all, we had too many independents and we didn't have one strong enough issue with any particular one independent associated with it. Betty Holmes probably would have been the strongest independent. She has also come out as the strongest, as one of the strongest ones with 1,100-1,200 votes. But on that health issue and on the whole protection of services, oncology services and all that, vis-a-vis Sligo, her campaign slipped very badly in the last 10 days. She got dragged into a campaign with other parties and other candidates, which confused the public, because the public really in this election didn't see health services as one of the vital issues. It isn't that health is not always a vital issue, but the public are satisfied that despite the cutbacks, Letterkenny Hospital has maintained and continued to provide a range of services perhaps above public expectations. Betty Holmes would have been a very good candidate. She would have been very well placed in Newton Cunningham, but she fell very far short at the end. The reality here was that Daisy Shields, who came in just on a whim of 2 weeks ahead of the campaign, with just a very simple message to clear up politics and corruption, transparency and openness. I mean, he was the big surprise of the independents in that he polled 1,800 votes, but then he had the most dynamic team behind him, people like Eugene Gallagher as his campaign manager. They seem to be everywhere, down in our own areas of Fanet and Downings. You saw Daisy Shields' posters where you didn't see Fianna Fáil posters. And I mean, they had a strong campaign, and had to give it another couple of weeks, they would have doubled that vote and been in serious contention.
And the highest performing independent candidate is Councillor Ian McGarvey.
Ian McGarvey has done quite well as the oldest candidate in Ireland, and again coming in late to the campaign, taking over 1,300 votes. He has about doubled his vote from the last time. He'll be quite pleased with that. Obviously he has taken a fair tranche of the Blaney vote out in the Milford area, and I think that would account for his performance out there. The Blaney vote has gone all over the place, quite obviously. Joe McAteer has taken a fair share of it. The one that hasn't taken much of it is Fianna Fáil. Sinn Féin has taken a pretty fair share of it, and maybe 1 or 2 of the other independent candidates.
Now, we haven't mentioned Labour councillor Jimmy Hart. He was being tipped for a potential of the 3rd seat. Do you think that's going to happen today?
I can't see it. I think he's about 1,500 votes at the moment off being in contention. Whilst 4,000 votes is a good, strong vote, it's caught in no man's land. He would need to be anyway comfortable. He would need to be on 6,000. Given that he will be transfer friendly, but like all other candidates, Charlie McConlogue is going to be transfer friendly. Charlie McConlogue is 2,600 votes ahead of Jimmy Hart. John Ryan is too far ahead of him as well. There's no way he's going to catch up on that. No way.
So we'll have an official count in about 1 to 2 hours time. We'll come back and look at that then. But for now, John, thanks for talking to us.
Thank you, Joanne.